School's back in session. Time to thrash some freaking chest. Some frickin'. You get the gist. Right, either way, I'm talking, well, maybe one step below diabolical, right? Maybe just one step below wild and nasty, but in terms of overall kind of thought process, usually sometimes I end up thinking of these for the car ride on the way back. But on the way there, I've actually got something reasonably important that I like to think about. And, you can't plan for everything, right? You can't freaking plan to have perfect workouts for the next 5 years straight and hit every meal and hit all your cardio and hit, that can be the plan, but, to put yourself in, and I think a lot of people do this, where they get this vision of themselves where, okay, I have to be perfect. I have to go for this thing, and if it all works out, it's going to be awesome. But if I can't hack it, screw it. I don't even want to try, And it's just gross, man. I mean, that sucks, right? I mean, it's like the people who are the most, who act the most like a perfectionist are the ones who are the furthest from perfection, right? Right in the beginning. It's it's like when we watch the Olympics, and it's like, dude, that guy's legs crossed in that quadruple and a half somersault into the water. You know what I'm saying? It's just not cool, right? But how that relates to the working out for me, and how I think about it, is it's just a thing to learn, experience, and kind of grow with over time, and to try to imagine giving yourself it's like everything, right? We want to go to school where it's like, okay, what's the perfect career path after I do this class and I get this AP credit, and then that actually transfers over to this, and it's like we need to this boxed in step by step, okay, I'll do this and then I'll reach this level and then I'll do here and I'll be here and I'll be here, and it's just not real, right? It's not how shit really goes down, at least not for working out. It's as much of something you can plan for as it is something that you have to adjust to, just depending on what goes down. Your schedule might change, your workout's got to change, or whatever. It's something where I think the guys who kill it are the ones who stay on their toes, not necessarily only the ones who stay hungry or the ones who are really motivated, but the ones who are just, they've got a good ability to adapt, and they don't just explode when their plan or when things don't go their way, right? We can all have an awesome lift on our best day. It's, I think, a little bit more important to look at just how people are going to react on their worst day when things aren't really working. They're not really feeling it. Their routine is wild. They're on this plane for however long. They're not going to just, because it's as much as maybe you can say you can't judge somebody on their worst day, it's a decent insight, when nobody has the pressure on. I'm going to hit a crazy ass leg day. I got 10 hours of sleep, ate a whole bunch of food, I'm bulking, so I got energy, and I double scooped it. I'm like, oh yeah, nice, right? Does that necessarily tell you that that's a motivated lifter? It tells you this guy's going to hit a lift, but in terms of the character building aspect of man, I don't care what is going on, I'm still going to get after it. That takes a little bit of time to be revealed, and I think it's something, to kind of to strive for, So how I'm looking at it is, all right, I want to be the guy who can handle it. I want to be the dude who can bring it, even though I'm not just because it's very, the most, let's say, capable opponent in a mental debate of whether or not you should stick to a diet, or whether or not you should go train, or whether or not you should, just stay home and skip it, or it's not any kind of political character, dude. It's your own mind. It's you laying down. Oh man, I could go to sleep right now. I could just do legs tomorrow, dude. That Ben and Jerry's has been in the freezer for weeks, man. It's waiting for you. Come on, just have a bite. Just have a little bite, man. You're good. Nobody's watching. It's like it's like Toy Story, and everything that comes into cheating on your diet or skipping training or whatever might rear its head open, and before you know it, your pantry is kind of creeping open like a mouth. Like, dude, just just come on in, man. We're good, man. Get in here. Just come eat something. Eat a little something. Right? We've all had a voice like that, and it's a good test of maybe not exactly how much you want it, but just how much you're willing to stick to. I think a good thing that I like to imagine is more so just how willing are you to stick to what you say you're going to do, or what in your mind you told yourself you were going to do. Because if I told myself I'm not going to, I'm going to lock in here, I'm going to diet down, that's what I want, well, what's my motivation for slacking off? What's my motivation to not do my cardio or to take it easy? It's because it's not a personal choice. It's just that sort of, slacker mind or slacker subconscious that wants your body to stay totally chill. If it was up to whatever is, whatever beats my heart, and whatever pumps my blood and whatever makes me breathe, like the subconscious side of things, like, dude, your body doesn't want to freaking squat 500 pounds. It doesn't want to sit on the treadmill doing, either a run or an incline walk or seated bike or Stairmaster or whatever. That's a stress. That's a freaking, it induces a stress response. Your body's like, quit doing this shit. Oh my God. And that's where you, as your own kind of sentient consciousness, have to say, dude, I don't give a shit what you want. Right? I mean, I'm talking C.T. Fletcher. Shut the fuck up and eat that S-H-I-T. Sorry to drop some hard swears on you here, but it's, I think that's what I like the most. It's not necessarily, like, and of course it takes discipline, and motivation and whatever. Sometimes I don't like to say it like that, and maybe that's, it's just a me thing. But no, I think if I could boil down what I really want to be able to do, just as a guy, as a lifter, as everything, is to be able to do and stick to what I say I'm going to do and what I say I'm going to get after. Because, if you can't do that, then shit, man. I mean, it's like, I don't even know. To get into it any further than that, we'd be sitting here for a freaking while. But when it comes to what I say I'm going to do today, I'm talking chest. I'm talking pecs, left to right, top to bottom, maybe a little bit less decline than some might prefer. But for me, I got to get some incline work. I need that upper chest thickness to be biased a little bit more heavily. But in terms of the weights, I guess we'll see. Because I got to get started first. I got to warm up my shoulders. I got to freaking... Oh, there we go. And I can see it. I got to get my rotator cuffs warmed, my back, my traps, my forearms, my everything. I need this whole upper body system to be ready so that when I get under some weight or under a cable or, whatever, I'm not going to hurt myself in the process. Something which has taken precedent as one of my kind of top level, let's just say values or maybe tenets when it comes to the gym is, obviously go as hard as I can. But if I leave with a torn pec or a wrecked shoulder or whatever, well, that's kind of counterintuitive. That's taken me a few steps backward, and it's just not cool. But I can almost guarantee it will be reasonably empty, so there's nothing stopping me from going crazy except, actually, I can't think of anything. I don't think the freaking gym would have to burn down. And then, even if it did, I'd go to a different one. So, yeah, there's nothing stopping this freaking train tonight. No assisted reps or nothing. Alright, come on. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna make an executive decision to only do one of that extra heavy set of incline bench. And now let's swap to some cables. So these are still gonna be a little nastier, nothing like super squeezing, controlled. Like, controlled. But I'm not gonna sit here 5 second. Like, these are gonna be kind of quick, pumpish. I'll actually go a little heavier than the 50s, do a 57. Because this is still early workout. And sometimes I like, well, honestly, I mean, there's no, I don't have a rule. I like to start triceps like real squeeze and holding, burning. And I like starting chest with a really heavy set of freaking bench. So it's like, you know, as long as you're bringing it and whatever style you're doing, you can kind of get behind, you're good. But let's make this flies count and get ready for whatever's next. And it might even just be another one of these. Okay. Let's get one more of those and then move on to something. Okay. Oh. What would you do next? Let's just get a heavy set of flies first, and then decide how to proceed afterward. I'm a little torn. My Spotify playlist has not been doing the trick. I've been reverting to my TikTok saved, which I don't mind. These edits are freaking hype. If they'll load. Come on. Come on. There we go. One more. Oh my gosh. Barbell, cable, pec deck. That puts me at 5. We're getting there. It is likely that this is going to be the last freaking set. If I kill it. If I really bring it, just based on how my chest feels and what I've done, and this heavy bench and the cables, this could be it. Sometimes I feel like I always finish with a standard ass fly, like it's a squeezing, burning finisher, really get me pumped up. But I don't know, man. Sometimes the press actually gets me. There's just something about the harder contraction at the top. But as long as I finish the chest pumped, fatigued, and I know I did it. Well, you know, if this whole workout was jumbled around in 100 different ways, if I still kind of had that same umphness the whole time, I think it'd be all right, you know? So honestly, as long as you pick movements you know are hitting everything from every angle, the stakes aren't crazy high. On a set-by-set basis they are, but what those sets actually end up being, kind of up to the individual, you know? So I'm not saying, oh, you get what I'm saying. Stop letting me ramble. Let me get this shit going. Okay. Ooh. Let's pose down. What a what? We'll talk about that after. All right, but okay. Oh, no, I gotta back up a touch. So, let's make sure. So if you're a cinematographer character, you would know that I gotta sit here and make sure I'm in extra good focus. But no, right here is cool. And even though I'm light, you know, I can tell I'm probably a little dehydrated, I still feel like a beast because I'm very pumped up for that lift. So, yeah, this is what I want to see. The leaner I get, it is going to give me the illusion of size. And not exactly an illusion either. More so, it's just revealing the size that's already there, right? So my shoulders are as big as they are. But now that I start getting, even just like sitting here, separation of like chest to arms to everything is just more noticeable. My waist is sucking in a touch. So things are taking their place, which is what I want to see. Not a lot of poses for chest. Actually, we'll do one back lat spread just for the freaking road. And then we can freaking get out of here. Oh, goodness. But all right, there we go. Arms complete. Sorry that this is a super late upload. I gotta get back on my regular schedule. But I gotta eat something. I gotta go to bed. I can tell my recovery is... I've got to amp it up. Tomorrow has potential to be like a cardio, sauna, chill day. But we'll wait till tomorrow to actually decide that. There we go. All right, let's get out of here. I'm talking badass set of incline bench, decently failure-reaching sets of those cable flies into presses into that kind of crossover looking combo style. Pec deck, not always a fan of that pec deck, but for whatever reason it felt decently good today. And then getting to finish with that chest press, a little heftier, much more squeezing. What else can I ask for? What else can I freaking ask for? Not that much. You know, not that freaking much. So now I've got a plan. And that plan is to go home, get some food in my system, and go to sleep. And yeah, I think calling it at one set of incline bench was a very good plan. Sometimes I've got a tendency to think, all right, well, that was 15 reps. Should I have gone heavier? Should I just spam more? Should I try and sit there and do 4 sets or whatever number of sets? And it's just not always the best idea, right? Because I can tell this is something I get a little bit when I'm not exactly overtraining, but more so just under recovering. You know, I've kind of been traveling around all over the place. I can feel a little something occur right in here, kind of pit of my elbow, just where my forearm ties in for like more of a hammer curl kind of movement. That's where I get a certain sensation of like just a little bit of tenderness, a little bit of like pinching, enough where I go, oh, ooh, all right, maybe the next day should be a little bit of a lighter day. But it's not exactly a end-all be-all sign to say take a rest day. It is, it's a clue, right? It's a fingerprint. It doesn't exactly convict anyone of crime, but it's, it adds to the case. So we'll see how tomorrow feels. Plus, I gotta freaking drink at least a gallon of water. At least a good amount of freaking water tonight before I go to bed, just to really maximize my freaking hydration, which, not something to be written off, how much water and electrolytes it's, I don't want to say just getting in, but that you're at least getting flown through your system, because, if I don't drink enough water, man, my training sucks. It's a guarantee. I'm gonna feel it. Like when you don't drink enough water, you just feel bad. I'm talking headache. I'm talking just a little bit more lethargic. Like things aren't contracting like they should. It's not cool, So that's where I'm really putting a bit more emphasis on, like, okay, let's make sure I'm actually, especially dieted, where you're not exactly holding on to as much water. Like when I'm bulking up, for you to store carbs in your muscles as glycogen, they're gonna basically be bound up with a bunch of water anyway. I think it's 1 part carb to 3 parts water, basically, when you got glycogen floating around. But either way, no matter what it is, it might not be so pertinent to get your hydration like completely maximized, drink 2 gallons a day, because you already got enough water in your systems anyway. But I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying it's extra important when I'm dieting, because I know if I don't drink enough and I don't get my electrolytes from whatever kind of packet or tub or whatever, it's going to throw me off. It's going to get my game. It's going to get me. I'm going to be on my B game, right? Can you ever describe a day you want to be on your B game for a freaking workout? I can't. I can't think of one. It just isn't going to happen, So that's where I can't exactly just be totally full of food and carbs right now. I'm just not eating that much. But I can make sure I'm fully hydrated. I've got enough electrolytes flowing in and out of my system so that, when I actually do come to the gym, and I've got things to run on, If you're already going to be sweating out extra water anyway, what do you want to do? Limit the amount of water you've got to work with? It's just not an awesome recipe for success, I would say. But yeah, my sleep schedule has got to get back on track. These last couple of days have been freaking wild. But now we're getting there. And right now is kind of a transition phase. I don't exactly have to make sure that I am, under like a 2,300 calorie limit for every day, because that's not the stage of dieting that I'm at. It's just this kind of, when I switch from bulking to cutting, it's much cooler from, cutting to bulking. But from bulking to cutting, still, you're in a little bit of a honeymoon phase, because what's going to happen is, I'm so sick of food from all the food I've been eating for the last 5 months. For me to limit my intake, well, it's just not a problem, right? It's not even a challenge, at least for now, because I'm still kind of in a sense of like, I don't need to chow down on a bunch of food. I'm kind of over it. So my eating at what my body's hunger is regulating me to eat, now I'm still tracking all my calories, is putting me just at a little bit below maintenance. So I'm just gradually losing weight, and that's what I want. But over the course of time, that maintenance, it's just not going to cut it, So that's where I'm going to have to actually start limiting, making sure that my meals are perfectly timed so that I'm at 1,200 by 4 o'clock. So I get a big meal after training, and I get a decently sized meal before bed, so I don't wake up hungry or want to eat something extra before I go to sleep, just because I'm getting a little bit of those freaking growling stomachs, right? but it'll take a little while. So until then, I've got a primary concern of making sure that I keep these lifts at as high of an intensity as I can keep them, which really is not a chore for me to do because that's what I want to do. That's kind of like the whole that's the whole freaking point. It's like the fun part. But still something where I don't want to forget that. Like, as much as for me the gym is a activity that I enjoy and I look forward to, I still want to make sure that the criteria of my lift and what I'm doing and how I'm doing it is conducive with the goals that I have. So in a way it's like work hard, play hard, because there are things that just have to be done in order to progress at whatever given field you're into. But if you can enjoy the process of doing those things, well, then even better, right? If you love something, you're never going to have to feel like you're working at it, because just doing it is the enjoyment. And then the rewards you get afterward, the gains, the whatever, that's just that's just extra beyond it, So that's kind of how I like to think of the working out. Like, I don't think I've I'm sure I have. There's always a kind of jealousy of like who's bigger than who kind of mentality. But for the most part, I'm going to see somebody way bigger than me and think, holy crap, that guy's freaking huge. I want to get bigger, but not necessarily because I want to like be bigger than them. It's more so it just gets me motivated to get on my own game and see what I can do myself. But yeah, so good late chest day. I didn't think it would be that busy, which it wasn't busy at all, but I thought it'd be a little bit more dead on a Sunday night. So actually, that's a bit of a pleasant surprise. There's a good amount of energy in there, which any lifter worth his salt, or worth his electrolytes, is going to know that a little bit of energy can go a long way if you can feed off of it from the guys who are working out around you. Because then, as much amped and excitement as you can build internally, you've also got this external energy outside where it's like, ooh, all right, everybody's bringing it. I don't want to slack off. I don't want to be the one guy out. Let's get freaking real. Especially if maybe that guy was thinking about slacking off in the freaking first place. But that's a situation to be confronted when it appears. So now I'm going to go home, eat something, like I said 3 seconds ago, and get ready for whatever tomorrow brings. But I'll see you then.